Yeah. So the reason I'm starting SQL in between, like we'll have SQL for 2 sessions, okay? And the reason I'm doing it in between is because before we start machine learning, we need to wrap up the R programming part. And in R programming, we need to learn SQL DF package. That is a part of our course, okay? So that is basically how you can utilize or access the feature and the capability of SQL on R. Okay, so for that you need to understand basics of SQL. How do you code SQL? How do you write SQL? That's the reason I want to start this SQL course before we end up our programming. Okay, and then we need to complete the uh, machine learning thing. So in total, we'll need 3 sessions today, and today's session and 2 more sessions to wrap up the session. Okay, and so that I'll just take you through the basics of SQL and what we need to do in SQL. So as I said, in SQL, it's very important to learn. So as an individual tool as well as in from our perspective, our programming perspective. So I'll not go for extensive tool installation and because that will take a lot of time. Tool installing is a little tedious task in SQL. It's not easy as R, where you do it with a click. Though a lot of installation is there. So, but to start with, it's very good. It is always suggestible to we should start with W3 schools. Okay, so basically we need to understand all the scripts, what it does, and that's the reason like I have opened this W3 schools for you guys. So I am putting the link on the chat as well. Okay, just access this link, open it in front of you, and one by one we'll understand what this SQL commands are. Okay, how do we use it and what it is. So I'll take you through the commands, and here in W3 schools, you also have the provision of running the command here and seeing the output. You can even do that. So we'll run a lot of commands and we'll see how the output is and what we are expecting and what is the actual output. Okay, we'll try to understand, and we'll draw all the relevance in the Excel, like what actually is happening. You'll get to see in Excel. I'll pull that in Excel and I'll show you. Okay, then what I'll do is like simultaneously in today's session or in next session, I'll do that same SQL in R so that you get to understand like what is basically happening in R. And that's the motive of that's the entire motive of making you understand what SQL is and teaching you SQLDF package. So there's a package called SQLDF in R that you need to install. So what you need to do is you go to package, go to install, okay, and type SQLDF. Okay, so SQLDF is basically a package that enables the capability of structured query language in R. So you can write SQL in R, right? So just then click on install it. Okay, so there's a mismatch in the spelling, SQLDF. So don't go for autocorrect. So select the one which is there in the pop-up, or best will be copy it here in the console, copy it and do it manually. Install dot packages SQLDF, comma, dependencies is equal to true. So make sure you click this dependency is equal to true, because it will automatically install all the packages which is needed in the SQL, which is needed by the SQLDF package, right? So make sure you do this and run the command. Okay, so this should be in quotes if I'm not wrong, right? Yeah. So it is getting installed, guys. So let it get installed. It will take some time because it's a big package. Because entire SQL is getting installed in your system. Okay, so it will ask for yes or no. Just type yes, and then it will start installing it, right? Yeah, so it is installed. Now what we need to do is using library, uh, uh, just bring that package in your console SQLDF, or you can even use require. Okay, require SQLDF, right? So I'll press require, and I'll bring this package in my system. So I have my SQL ready. Now let's go and understand basic command that then we'll come back again on R and see how does it work, right? So guys, as I said, I'll be extensively using W3 School and Excel to make you understand how SQL works, right? Yeah. So this is my Excel. Let me open my Excel. Yeah. So this is why I opened Excel just to show you. Guys, I'll create one table for you. Okay. So I'll create one table that will have few columns that is called ST student ID, student name, okay, student student department, and uh, uh, then you'll have a few more details. Let's say this is one table. So student ID, let's say 1001, name is John. Okay, department is economics. Then 1002 Millie. Okay, department is stats. 1003, let's say Rita. Again, department is economics. And so on so on. Let's create one more 1004. Okay, uh, like math, and department is English, right? This is the table that you have. Uh, so in reality, this table will be huge, but now I am just creating for the sake of making you understand how SQL work, right? So this is a table where you have stored, like it is again, if you recall your data frame memories from our discussions that we had in our programming. So kind of this looks like two-dimensional a matrix or a data frame, right? So you have rows where this represents your rows. Uh, this represents your rows, okay, and then you have a columns. You have this column. So now the entire SQL is again bring us back to the same discussion of columns and rows. Okay, so whatever we do in SQL, so we'll have to deal either in column or we'll have to deal in rows. Okay, so we generally the entire data that we store in the backend of the SQL, that is stored in a tabular form. Okay, and any data that is stored in tabular form is called structured data. Okay, so this can be one interview question. So have you worked on a structured data or non-structured data? So the answer should be I have worked in SQL or I have learned SQL, which can deal with structured data. Okay, so we in SQL generally, like any structured query language, you talk about Oracle, you talk about Microsoft, you talk about MySQL, which I'll send you to download and install in your system. They all deal with structured data, and that is the reason the full form of SQL is structured query language. Okay, the full form of SQL is structured query language. Fine. Now, when we talk about structured query language, so we mean all the tools, techniques, keywords that we use to fetch out the information that is stored in your tabular format in the table. So the data is stored in the system. It is stored in the backend in tabular form. You need to fetch it out. Okay, and the language that we use to fetch that data out of your backend is called structured query language. Okay, now let's take each thing step by step. So since we are learning as SQL and R from analytics perspective, from data science perspective, so our aim will be to fetch our data from the system. How do we store it and how do you optimize it? That is not a big part of our job. Okay, that for that you have database administrator, okay, database admin. They are meant to do those things, right? For us, like as an analyst or a data science professional, we just need to fetch out stored information and create a analytics and do analytics on top of that, right? So let's go here and see. So W3 School slash SQL is basically, it covers all the basic commands, all the basic strategies that we opt for that we use in for SQL. So we'll see one by one, like, and what is the significance and how do we use it. Okay, and then you will be able to draw reference from it, right? So guys, give me 5 minutes. Okay, I'll just take a break for 5 minutes. I'm getting a call, and then we'll join. And whatever commands you want to check. Okay, so there are interface. You can even write commands here. Okay, and you can try it yourself. So it will run it. So it will run it in a different window. You will get to see the output here. So run SQL will run the SQL, and you'll get the output here. So this is the table which we are talking about. It has rows, it has columns. So in total, it has 91 rows, as you see here. Number of records 91. And if you modify SQLs, so let's say I did this and I want to run it, so it will give you an error because it will say the table does not exist, right? So you'll get all sort of error. Like, it will give you a true feel of SQL. You get an output here, okay, and you can check how many column it has. So this is a column, number of record it has. Okay, so we'll play with it. We'll play with it using different commands. Okay. Now, in SQLDF on the left side, you see there's SQL tutorial, and in that you have different commands. So let's say, for example, I open where. Okay, so you'll get all relevant information and tutorials for SQL. Okay, and if you want to apply that, you can even make changes here and run it. So likewise, you'll get the output. You have examples. If you want to run it, it will open in a different window. Here you can change queries and you can run it. You'll get output. Okay, so from now we saw we had 91 records, so we put a filter now of Mexico and we got 5, right? So this is how SQL W3 School works. Now let's go one by one. Now we'll start with select. So home, intro, and syntax we are already seen, intro and all. So we'll start with select. Select is the basic command that whenever we start learning SQL, so select is something which we learn in the very first time. So what is select basically? Let's come back to Excel and understand, right? So this is Excel. So let's assume this is a customer table. Okay. So let me try one thing if this works. If I pull out this data directly, and put it in the Excel here. Yeah, so it's happening. So let's play with the real data. Okay, so customer. Okay, so this is the exact data that I'm having, and let's forget about. This is W3 school data. Fine. So I'll just zoom it a little bit. Yeah. So guys, now we'll start with select. So select is basically when you have a table, a real-time table, or any project or any client data. So it will be stored in this format, in a tabular format. Okay, at the back and in the database basically. And you have a lot of columns. Here you see 7 columns, but you can see you'll be finding like a number of columns, 100, 200, sometimes multiple of hundreds columns you will be finding. Okay, but generally when we start analyzing the data, when we start fetching out some information and try to understand what is there. Okay, so we deal with some particular fields, particular fields, like we need just let for example, I want all the people, let's say, who stays in Kolkata. I'm not bothered about the world. I'm just bothered about Kolkata. Okay, so my thing is, I just want the cities. I want to see how many different cities are there. Okay, or I want to see the contact name, or I want to see the customer name. Okay, so what I want is basically I want to select particular columns. I don't want all the columns which are there in the table. That is not of my use. Okay, so select will help you to do that. To do that, it will help you to achieve that. So select is basically filtering the columns. It will give you all the columns that you need. So let's say, and how do we write it? We simply write select customer name. Okay, and let's say I want city, customer name and city. and country. Select customer name, city, and country, and then we run it. Okay, so this select is basically what is selecting the column. So entire SQL, if I tell you to start with, you can divide this entire SQL in three different phases, three different commands. Okay, and everything that you will learn in advanced SQL and which you'll see in coming sessions, okay, will fall under these three. Okay, so what are these three? So we call it like kind of, it's a rule of SQL. One is select. So select means what are you selecting, what columns you want. Okay, so filtering the columns. Okay, so let's say this is my table customer, right? My table name is customer. Fine. So let me just remove table, and my table name is customer, right? Yeah. Now, so select is like selecting columns. I want customer name, country, a city. Okay. Then the second thing is from. So from will tell you from where do you want to select the column. So from will always be a table name. So it will be a table name. So in this case of us here, it will be customer, right? Now, and then uh, so if somebody is trying to do something on the screen, I'm getting scratches here. So let me clear out. So if you want to do something, so Andrila says it will show error. Any other option? Any other guess, guys, from anybody? So I just got one answer. Andrila, so she's it's like it says that it'll get error. Any other options? Any other answers? Ritushri, Sanjita, Komal. If you're working in a system, you can even try and tell me, at least take an attempt. What will happen? Sorry. Yeah. So, fine. So I missed some recording. That was basically on the aliasing thing, right? So aliasing, I'll cover up again and record it. Yeah. So now tell me, I want to count how many countries are there. Okay. So I wrote a command called select, count, and country from table. So any idea how many countries will I get? 91. Great. Actually, so we'll get 91 because what I'm doing is I'm simply counting the number of rows of this country. Yeah. So your answer is correct. So 91 should be the answer. So I'm getting 91. Now, what if I want to see distinct number of countries? How many distinct out of 91? How many distinct country we have in our data? Okay. So in that case, what we write is we write distinct country. Select distinct country from customer. So let's forget about count now. Okay, I'll just write distinct country. So I'll get the list of all the distinct country which is present in our data. So I have this many 21 records. I have 21 distinct countries: Germany, Mexico, UK, Sweden, and so on. Okay, so now I got 21 records. Now if I want to see, this is my distinct country. If I want to see a count of distinct country, I simply write count here. Okay, I simply write count and run it. So I get 21, again the same output. Now see the column name. Column name is count distinct country. It is exactly giving the code that we have written. Okay, and at times it looks awkward when you present it to higher management and if you report it. So what we'll write? We'll write it in a proper way. Distinct country. Count distinct country as a alias. Okay, as an alias, and then run it. So you see what will happen. you'll get same output, count distinct country. Now anyone can understand this 21 is the number of distinct countries that you have in the table. So distinct is one command, important command that we use. And you see, like select, I told you initially that select is basically used for selecting columns. That was one aspect. But now you see here so many operations that like this just started. Okay, there are so many operations that you do in Excel in select part, right? Now let's go ahead and check. Now we'll start with where. Okay, we have not started with where. Now let's start with where now. Okay, so in where, guys, what happens? So let's rub this off. I select star from country. Now the third command. So we have seen, we learned three, right? So select, from, and where was the third one. Now we have seen first and second. Let's see where. So where basically will give you, will enable you or will help you so filter out the rows, right? So now if we go back to our data, select star from, let's get back to our data and see what we can filter out. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to filter out, select star from customer where country is equal to, since it's a string. So here in SQL as well, you have the same concept of character, integer, and dates. Okay, so whenever you are dealing with a character or a string, it should be in a quote. In simple language, it should be in a quote. Now, quote, you can ask me, is it a single quote or is it a double quote, right? So it again depends from tool to tool, which tool you are working on. Okay, but most of the tool, in general, most of the tool will facilitate both the quotes. Okay, but again, the rule of thumb is string should be in a quote. Okay, now you need to check in that tool whether it accepts a single quote or a double quote. Okay, that is it is tool dependent thing. So let's see with a single quote here. I'll search for India if they have India, any customer from India. So let's start from customer where country is India. Okay, let's run it. I don't have any result. So that means in my data, I don't have any customer from India. So let's check what country they have. Do they have from UK? Let's run it. So you have like a lot of customers, I mean 7 customers who are from UK. So what I'm doing in where is basically, I am trying to filter out rows based on values. Okay, this is my condition where country is equal to UK because I'm just bothered about people who are from UK. Okay, and you get the details of the customer. So where is used for filtering out thing. Now open, if you are using a browser, okay, in your system, open your SQL w3 SQL, okay, and quickly try one thing. You need to try this and check what you are getting. Select star from customer, okay, where country is Germany, and city is Berlin. There are two filters. So try this and tell me the answer. Where country is Germany. So in this case again, the conclusion or the hypothesis that we took of single quote is working. Let's check with double quote if it works or not. Country is Germany. Let's take it to a double quote. Let's see how it works. Okay, and run it. Okay, so there is an error. I have put a semicolon before the end of the code. That gave me error. Okay, we should always put a semicolon when we are ending the code. So double quote also worked, right? So single quote and double quote both are working here. Fine. This proves our hypothesis. Now let's get back to the question. So my question was, so my question is, give me all the customers whose country is Germany and and city is Berlin. Guys, can you try in your system and tell me how, or if you get it or not? If is are there any issues? So there are two filters that I'm applying: country and city. Okay, so earlier we got a record of 11. Now let's see how many records you are getting in this. So where country is equal to Germany and city is equal to Berlin. City is equal to Berlin. So let's put Berlin in a single quote. Let's run it. You get one record. Fine. Now, if you see here, so all the color codes that you see. So from the color codes, you'll learn a lot of things. So all the keywords are popping up in blue, right? So this means there are two, three things that you should understand from here. That is, first thing, whichever is in blue, that indicates it's a keyword. Okay, and that keyword you cannot use for any other purpose. You cannot create a table with that keyword. You cannot create an alias with that name. Okay, you even cannot use that keyword for aliasing. Just imagine, like if you just do something like this, select customer name, which is a column name, as select. Okay, let's say you want to put it select, it will give you an error. Okay, it says the keyword is reserved, you cannot use it for aliasing, right? Now, so just keep in mind all these things, and then when it comes to your thing, I mean like the things which you are writing, your table, your logic, your query, that will appear in black. Okay, anything that appears in quotes is assumed to be a string. Okay, and it will be in red. So again, it's very tool specific. Here whatever you see is based out of MySQL. Okay, this is MySQL. Okay, so it appears in red. But when you start working with Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle, so you might get it in a blue color. Okay, blue will be your string, right? So these are few things. Now let's get back. We have seen where, we have seen. Okay, so in where we have used one like a logical operator and. So likewise, what you can use is, like, you can use and, you can use or. So just check it, like everything which I'm writing will start populating in blue color. So it's a keyword. Okay, reserve. You have and, you have or, you have uh, null. Okay, so null and all is advanced, we'll discuss about it. So then you have let's say if you want to add something. So if I want to add, select, let's say for example, I want to select 1 plus 2. Okay, so I don't know here what it gives you. Okay, so it gives you 3 as output. So basically it is also used as a like, it understands operator. Even if you write 1 and 2, so it will do operation, it will give you the output. So now give addition, add as addition. Okay, select. So addition of 2, 1 and 2 is gives you 3, right? So you can do all these basics operation here in select. So the reason I'm showing you this 1 plus 2 is, basically there will be a time where you let's say for example, you get something like this. uh, you have student loan. Okay, and you have interest rate, that, like, I mean like the loan the student have taken. Let's say they have taken $100,000, 100,000. Okay, and the interest they are paying is 5%. Okay, so you can create, let's say then here 120,000. Okay, 120,000, interest they are paying 4%. So you if you have such data in table, so you can create a third table like total amount paid, total loan paid, like something like this, and in select, and you do the calculation. Let's say it will be this into this, right, is equal to this into this. So such calculations you can do in select. So how will you do this? Let's go back here and understand. Guys, my Excel was visible to you, right? When I was doing entries on SQL. Guys, I showed something in SQL. Okay, great, fine. Yeah, I thought like SQL is not visible. Excel is not visible to you. So if you want any kind of calculations and create a third column or a fourth column out of the calculation, so you can do it in select 1 plus 2, okay, divided by 1 divided by 2, okay. So you can do it here, and if you run it, so you get an output. Fine. So let's go ahead and back to our dictionary SQL and see here. So we have and or not. So we have seen and, we have seen select star from customers, okay, uh, customers where country is equal to Germany, okay, or country country is equal to let's UK. Okay, so I want all the customers who are either from Germany or UK. Okay, so I'm putting an or statement here. So you know like how or works, right? So either or, okay, either this or this. So let's run this. So you'll get all the entries from Germany and UK, Germany or UK. Okay, so you'll get all the entries. Okay, similarly, uh, uh, yeah. So these are the different operations, like logical operation and or. That you can use, and not. Okay, so there is also called not. So we have seen and, we have seen and, we have seen or, we'll see not now. Okay, so basically let's say I and where country is equal to Germany. So let's make it simple. So how do we write not? Is basically we write exclamation mark and not and equal to. This is a not operator, guys. This is a not operator. Now what I'm saying is select all the customers from customers, okay, where country not equal to Germany. So my assumption is, let's say I first take out all the customers who are from Germany. Okay, so I have how many customers? 11 customers. Okay, so 11 customers I have from Germany. Now in total I have how many customers? I have 91 customers in total. Okay, now what my ask is, I want all the customers who are not from Germany. So what should be my output? My output should be 91 minus 11. Guys, do you agree with this? Other people, do you understand like what I'm trying to does it make sense what I'm trying to do here? Okay, I'll just repeat. So basically I'm trying to tell you how to use not operator. Okay, so a not is basically the syntax of not is not equal to. Okay, not is exclamation and equal to sign. So this says not equal to Germany. So total customers from Germany, I have 11 as we have seen in output. You can see here we have total customers from Germany as 11. Okay. Now I'm filtering. I don't want this Germany customers, and in total I have around 91 customers. So not is basically not. So 91 minus 11 will be should be my expected output. That is 80. 80 is my output. So let's run this. So when I run this, so I get 80 as my output. So you will get all the customers from everywhere apart from Germany. You can even search and check it. Now, can anybody try this in their system where customer not from France? and check what is the count quickly. Customer not from France. Just share me the number of records that you are getting. So did you got the number? Like just share the number of records. Okay. So is it not? Are you guys getting in some error or something like that? Fine. So let's do it here and check what is happening. So let's uh, okay. So first I'll check how many customers are from France. Okay. So that will be like this. The command will be like this, and when I run it, so I get again 11 customer from France, same as Germany, right? So now I don't want something from France, so total should be 11 minus 91 should be 80. So I get the same count again, 80, right? So this is how we use not operator. Now, getting back to one more thing that is very important when you start working in SQL is comment. So guys, if you have observed here, I wrote a command and then I also wrote other things which I don't like, which was for my understanding. I don't wanted that to be executed by the SQL. Okay, I wrote so many things, but I don't wanted this to be executed by SQL. Okay, so I commented out. So in SQL we comment the line by double dash. Okay, we do it in R. If you remember, if you can recall it, we used to do it with hash. Okay, we used to, if you open R, we used to, if I wanted to comment some section of line, I don't want that to be executed, then I used to put hash, and that used to get green, and that was not get generally, it was not executed. Okay, but if you, in Excel you have a different syntax, you just put double dash. Okay, then it is not getting executed. Fine. So we have seen these three operators, and these three are majorly the major operator that we have in SQL. And whenever we talk about operators, like these operators are used for filtering the rows. Okay, so this logics, whichever logics we have seen so far, they all are used, they all are used for they all are used for filtering rows. Okay, you are never going to put this and or not in a select statement. It will always come in a where statement, because where is something where you filter out the rows. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead guys and check order by now. Okay, so when we come to order by, guys, so order, what happens basically, see here. So order by is basically sorting R. So we have seen sort, we used to sort data frame, we used to sort vector, sort list. Okay, so here again we sort the column. So basically in any, obviously when we are sorting, so majorly we sort on numerics. We even sort on alphabetically basically. If I want to sort the name alphabetically, so A will appear first, then B will come, C will come clockwise. So when I want to sort it by order by customer ID, or if you have any other numeric, for example, I only have customer ID. Okay, so what I do is like select star from customer. Okay, this is my uh, statement. You have select, you have from, then you have where. Okay, uh, the in where you put your filter condition, right? Put your filter condition, row filter condition here. let's say I don't have any filter condition of row. So let's say I have it. I I have it. I'll put country is equal to Germany. And one more thing, guys. So whenever you type a value, okay, I said you earlier that SQL is a case insensitive language. So case insensitive, when I tell you, when I say you that it's case insensitive, so it means in syntactically it is case insensitive. So you write select in small or in caps, okay, or in camel, whatever case. It does not bother the SQL, the engine at the back, okay, and it assumes it the same way, the perfectly same way in all the cases. But whenever you filter out a value, majorly a string, okay, so it matters. So you need to give a proper case in which the data is stored in the system. If I give Germany like this, it will not give you the output because the data which is stored in the database or the table is stored in a camel case. You have a caps G and then a small other letters again with Mexico, UK, and Sweden everywhere. Okay, so if you follow this, it has a perfect camel case. You have caps O V E R E, then space again caps S T R T. Okay, so let's check this. Where country is equal to Germany, you get no output. The reason is Germany with this cap is not present in the database. So Germany with caps G is present in the database, and when you run this, you get an output. So there's two clear distinction that you need to keep in mind. So that time when I said you about the case insensitive nature of the SQL, I meant only about the keywords. Okay, when you filter out data based on rows in where condition, you need to take care of the case of the data which is, and you need to basically match it with the type which is it stores in the database, right? Okay, so now let's get further, and we have where country is equal to Germany. Okay, and I was trying to tell you how do we uh, order it, right? So now you see uh, in this date table the output you have the called customer ID, which is ordered ascending. Okay, it is stored in an ascending order. So by default, everywhere it is ascending. So if you want to change it, so after where, so basically the sequence is you have select, you have from, then you have where. This is the constant thing. Okay, then you will find order by, order by, order by customer ID. Okay, it is there in descending order. If you want to change it, you need to make it in descending order. You need to make it in descending order. Okay, so it should be order by descending, the DESC. If I write it, I'll write it like this, so DESC, and you select all and run it. So now what you see is the entire table, the sequence of the table got changed from ascending to descending, right? So this is by default it stores in ascending order, but when you purposefully order change the order of the table, so it becomes descending, right? Guys, is it clear? Order by. Let's try with some postal code. Let's try. We'll not figure out like how the impact is, but let's try with some uh, order by Can we do order of columns as well? So for columns, basically when you, so there's a question from Andrela that can we order by columns? So when you want to order it by columns, so it means you want to like column names, right? So columns name, customer ID, customer name, contact number. So when you want to order by columns, so it is basically you just put that column sequence in the select basically. Like let's say you want customer name first. Okay, so you can do that customer name, and then you have, let's say you want city. Okay, then you want address. So you can put it in any sequence. There's no hard and fast rule. Okay, so this will give you a this is the ordering in select. So if you want to order like using order by, that is not possible, but yeah, if you can even put the column name in whichever sequence you want and run it. So that's the order by in like if you want to do it column wise. So let's run this and check, put a semicolon and run it. So you see here there's some error. Customer name, city, address from customers. Yeah, customer name, city. What's the error? What is the issue? Let me run this. 1 minute. There's some issue with my spelling probably. So it should be this. Okay, I mean the comment is not working properly. If I'm not wrong, the comment is not working properly. Okay, so let me open it with in a different window. I'll take this out and uh, I'll run it in a different window. So select star from customers. Let's comment this out. Yeah. So basically here what I wanted to do is I want to see customer name first. customer name, comma, city. Okay. Yeah. So see here basically if I want to make any changes in the sequence, I'm free to do that. If I want it like this way, and run it, so it happens properly. So if you want to sequence it, if you want to sequence the column, you can do it in a select part. Okay, and if you want to sequence the rows, you will have to do using order by. Okay, after where statement, right? So here the command which they used earlier was select star from customers, order by country. So let's see, country is my string, it's not numeric. We worked on the numeric ordering. So let's see this. So here by default it takes alphabetically. Earlier it was starting with Germany, now you start with uh, Argentina, A, right? A, B, and then C, D, likewise. So this is how it works here. And then if you want to change the order again, descending and ascending will work here, right? So guys, do you have any questions so far? Guys, do you have any questions so far? Then we can go ahead. So we have seen order, insert and all we don't need now, delete and all is not, we don't need now. Yeah, so let's see what we need maximum is here onwards. For analytics point of view, this is what we need. Select top. So what happens basically when you have a huge data set, let's say this is not 91, it is 91,000. Okay, there are 3,000 added to it. And when you open the data each time when you hit the 91,000, so it takes time to load. Obviously 91,000 rows is getting loaded in your system in the table. It takes time. So what generally we do is like we use a lot of commands, okay, to limit the number of rows. So I just want to understand. So for my exploratory parts, for doing my exploratory data analysis, if I want to understand, so I will be okay with 10 rows. So you remember in R we learned head, tail, okay. So what head used to do? So if you wish to write head empty cars, so it used to give us the first 6 rows of the table, right? So this was the first 6 rows of the table. If we used to do, if we want to increase it to 10, so we used to write 10, and it used to give us the first 10 rows of the table. Can you see my screen, guys? Our screen. Can you see my R screen? Okay. So similarly, if you want to the same, if you want to do the same thing in SQL, so we have a command called limit. Okay. So if you want, like, if you do select star from customers, so we get 91 records. If you want to do select star from customer limit 10, so it will give you only top 10 records, and run it. So let's see here. So you get top 10 records. So this is something which we use very frequently when the moment you sit in system in office or in a project. So you need to make sure, because the industry data are very huge in size, okay, and it will be in millions. So never do select star from and hit the execute query. It will take hours and hours to load it, and you might get escalations, right? So it is always the best practice to pull out 1,000 rows or 500 rows initially and do your analysis, right? Fine. So this is how we do top 10, top 20, okay, and you run it. Fine. So let's go ahead. You have select top that we have seen. So top also does the same thing. Top 10%, top 20%. Okay, and we do limit. Okay. Now let's get back to some aggregate function. So we are getting now into real things, the real things that we will need. Okay. So we, as an analyst or a data science professional, we are more into like creating aggregates, okay, analyzing the data, creating aggregates, okay. So how do we do this? So we generally do this using aggregate functions, okay. So what are aggregate functions? Okay. So first of all, do you have any idea what are aggregates, guys? Any idea what do you mean by aggregates? Okay, so aggregates, basically what do you mean by aggregate is you are rolling up data. So there are two terms that you will hear a lot: rolling up and rolling down. Okay. So rolling up is called aggregating it. So basically, if I take this example of if I take this example, I'll just try to explain you here. This row and this row. Okay. So there we have a same student. We have two entries. Okay, John from eco department. So he has two entries. He has taken two loans, for example. So he 100,000 he has taken. Let's say in some month of May, and then June, July, main month of June 2018, and then again he have taken in May 2019. He have taken one more loan. Okay, so there are two loans on his name. So aggregating means if I want a data on student label, and I want like the total loan taken by some particular student. Okay, So here my individual identity for this will be obviously student ID. 100,001 is his student ID. So I want the total student loan taken by this particular student. So I'm rolling up the data. I'm trying to aggregate this two row and make one row, right? So that is called aggregate, and it will be a simple sum, right? Simple sum of this plus this, right? So I get 200,000, like as simple as this is rolling up. This is what we call rolling up. Okay, and and believe me, this is something. This is a hardcore of SQL that we are into, rolling up data, aggregating the data, right? So now let's get back to our SQL. Okay, so here, uh, let's say, for example, I want a maximum. Okay, I will start from max. So what are the functions that comes in this aggregates? So first you will hear about max function. Then you will hear about mean function. Then you will hear about average function. Okay, then you will hear about what else you hear about is max, mean, average. You also hear about standard deviation a lot. Okay, sometimes you'll hear about this is sometimes called average. This is sometimes called standard deviation. Okay, and what else? Max, mean, average. So sum. Okay, difference. Then you have uh, there are plenty of it. So, but this majorly max, mean, average, and sum. These are something very important. You'll always use it. So let's put this here. Okay, so this difference and SD is not that useful. So let's forget about it now. So these are my aggregate functions: max, mean, average, and sum. Now, how do I use it? So all the aggregation will be done on column, right? So I mean, like you want to aggregate one column, okay, and you'll earlier you had 10 rows, you'll reduce it to 8 rows. So how do we work? So let's start with first example, mean, max. So you select, I want let's say, are they using any other table or they have the same table? uh, they are using which table? Okay, they started with a new table called product. So let's see the product table now. Okay, so we'll see use product table. So let's see the product table and understand first. So let's comment this out. Okay, so I guess the comments in the initial line, they don't accept that comment. That's the error. First line should be here. So let's keep this here. Put it here. Yeah. So let me remove this. Yeah. So this is my product table. Let's understand. So it has a product ID, product name, supplier ID, category ID, unit, and price. Okay. Now, so let's check some more details, like how many distinct product it has. Select distinct product name. Okay, let's run it. So it has around 77 different products, right? how many rows it has in total. It has 77 rows and 77 distinct products. Okay, now let's start using aggregate function. So I want maximum price of the product, so max price. Okay, as max price, max price. Let's check it. Let's run it. So $263 point 50 cents is the price of the maximum, like of a product, maximum price of the product. Okay, then let's check. So what I'm doing is in select, I'm writing the column and the aggregate function. Okay, and then alias, if even if you don't write aliasing, so this is perfectly okay for you. So you get a same output. So $263.5 is my maximum price of a particular product, any product, right? So I just wrote max and the column name. Similarly, if I write mean, so you need to understand one thing here. So you got same output, you got a minimum price that is $2.5. Okay, so here I just max and mean. What I'm doing is I'm trying to find max, I'm trying to find mean. So what I'm trying to do here is basically like searching the entire column. Okay, whichever is maximum or minimum, I'm throwing that out, okay, as the output, right? Now things works differently for other aggregate function like sum. Okay, so sum is what if you want to just write sum, it will sum up all the rows and it will give you the output. So it will sum up all the rows and it will give you output. So in total, to 22,000 to $2,222 is the sum of all the prices, right? But proper challenge comes in now, like in terms of understanding the data is, so if you want average, so you can even write avg and run it, so it will give you the average price. So average price of the product is $28, $29 rather, right? Now, so we have seen max, mean, sum and average. So we have seen max, mean, sum and average. Now run this. Okay, uh, yeah, so far do you have any issues as such, guys, in understanding what is aggregate function? So now let's see one more thing that is called uh, like operation and group by operation. So this is what we need now. Okay, so first for like, I'll tell you here only. So let's take the customer table. Select star from customers. Okay, we'll use this same customer table to understand like. Okay, now how does like work? So basically, when you like is basically again filtering, row filtering technique. When what happens generally when you start working in a real data, so you'll come to a situation where you want to filter, or you want to filter string columns. So like let's say contact name or country. You want to filter on country, but you are not sure the exact spelling, or you don't know how exactly like the word is pronounced and written in the database. So you can guess it. You have something in your mind, like very slight understand, like slight picture of it. So you just want to guess it. So what happens? So whenever you work with string like columns, so there's something called wildcard filters. So wildcard filter is basically you widely guess something. You are widely guessing. So where country like colon, we give specially this ampersand sign. Okay, this signifies wildcard, widely search for this thing. Okay, and I'm sure like I'm not sure like how Germany is spelled. I just know it starts from GER. Okay, and I'll again put a ampersand. So it means it will search the entire column. It will do a wildcard search first of all, because I'm writing like starts like is it indicates that it's a wildcard search. It is called wildcard. I'm wildly searching. This is one thing, right? And then how do we do that? We do that using ampersand sign. Okay, and we write GER. Okay, I don't know the further spelling how Germany is pronounced, or how Germany is spelled out, and I run it. So I get Germany as my output. Okay, so what if I want all the countries? I'm not sure how many countries are there which starts with G, caps G. Okay, so I'll give any country which starts with G. Okay, I want an output, so I'll get it. So I'll say, since I have said ampersand in the front as well as the back, so it means any country which has G in it. Okay, G in the spelling, give me all that country. So that means how I'm doing that, basically by providing ampersand at the front and the ampersand at the back. Okay, if I want to find something, all the countries which only starts with G, so I need to remove this front percentage. Okay, so I'm wildly searching the right side, I'm not wildly searching on the left side. So then you run it, you get all the Germany, because Germany starts with G, caps G. Okay, so you get only Germany. If you want anything, like any country where G appears anywhere in between, front, back, so run this percentage both the side and run it. So you get Germany and you also get Argentina, because G exists here as well. See here, right? Portugal, G exists here as well. Okay, Belgium, G exists here as well. Okay, now try one more thing. Any country that has anything at the start but always ends with G. It has G at the end. Okay, let's try. If you see, if you have any country, you don't have any country which has ending G in it. Okay, let's try. If you have anything with K, ending K, you'll get UK. See here, you have UK which ends with K. You have Denmark which ends with K. Okay, so it is widely searching the database using a like operator, and you just, like will be as it is, you just need to play with the percentage, where you need to place the percentage. So percentage at both the end means anywhere in the word. Okay, so let's take one example here to understand better. Let's say you have word Sajid. Okay, and in like operator, if I want to search any letter which starts with S, so mine will be start with S is constant, fixed, and after that it can be anything, so I'll get the output as Sajid. Okay, if I want any word which ends with D, okay, and before ending it can be anything, so it should be ampersand D. It ends with D and before that it could be anything, right? If I want any, all the letter which has J in between, that's it, my concern is J should be existing, so ampersand J. Okay, so this is the three ways, guys. Is it, does it make sense, guys? Is it clear? Okay, great, fine, fine. So this was one of the important thing that I wanted to discuss, and yeah, so later, like we now, as I said, SQL is, this is the SQL which I wanted to